Alrighty, Godzilla Day. Let's get started. Godzilla Day 2024, Godzilla's 70th anniversary. We caught quite a lot of thick, juicy fish of informationals, news, and reveals. Of course, we have the very exciting news that Takashi Yamazaki will be back for yet another writing and director role for yet another Godzilla film from Toho. It hasn't been officially confirmed to be, a -1 sequel, but come on. And whether it will actually be Yamazaki's dream to bring Hedorah into the modern era, we're not sure, but I think it's going to be Hedorah. Not Mothra, not Anguirus, not Gigan. I think it's going to be Hedorah, and I think the two mesh pretty well together, but that's a different video for a different time. So we're going to kick it off with SH Monster Arts, and and SH Monster Arts revealed quite a heavy hitter, Anguirus, 1972, I think? Yeah, probably. And from what we're seeing of the promo photos, I think the figure looks great. I don't care that he's not the right color of brown or if this is accurate or not. If it's not going to be a ridiculous exclusive that I'm going to be import taxed out the butt for, I'm kind of all here for this. I want him to go alongside my Shoshingeki Goji, and I mean, this promo art we're looking at right now is just like, that's it. It fucks. Look at Angugu Dolls, he's serving the cunt. So thanks to the articulation series over on Twitter, we actually got to see what the prototype figure looks like. And I mean, right here, right next to Godzilla, bro, I couldn't be happier. Like, this is it. And we've got the 70th anniversary 54 in the background, and that thing, -1, who cares? So from a top-down shot, I mean, yeah, his horns on his head and on his nose, they're a bit more yellow. This one's just his back and his tail, they're a little mismatchy. I don't know if that's supposed to be a thing, but I mean, I'm not even eye-fucking the thing. This is just something that I looked at, like, and just noticed, but yeah, is what it is. I mean, it could be a lot worse. I am worried about Anguirus's back, though, for, like, final product. After what happened with Mezco, but we got this close-up over here, the yellowing of the eyes, the almost dead look there. It's so much like the suit. It's actually really cool looking. And, just because I'm not bothered by the coloration this figure is taking on, whether it's accurate or not, I'm not bothered by it, but if you are, that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to be bothered by it. You are. Don't let anybody tell you can't be bothered by something. I'm just gonna be real. I'm excited for this figure. This is one that I'm going to be looking out for, very much so. And again, I'm hoping it's not some crazy kind of web shop exclusive. I would really like to nab this off of the likes of Hobby Link Japan whenever it goes up, because I actually really do want this. Yes, that is Shinra Jira starting off a Godzilla Day thingy of reveals with SH Monster Arts and having something positive to say. Hoorah. So another big thingamagoo was the announcement of a Godzilla movie 4K box set. Now there's actually 4 editions of this here set. There's 2 that are exclusive to the Godzilla store, and then another 2 that'll be available throughout a few different import shops like Ami and right through the Godzilla store as well. It's cool. It's like $388 for one of them, and the Godzilla store exclusive version, it does come with this 70th anniversary plaque clock thing, and it looks like some postcards. The set in and of itself comes with this nice little booklet of behind the scenes photos and probably information and stuff. Mechagodzilla 2 looks like he's got his own friggin' box there. I mean, that's cool. This really doesn't interest me, because I'm a filthy fucking Yankee and I don't know how to speak Japanese or understand the language. But they're 4K, they're region free. They just likely don't have any subtitles. What I am interested in, though, is this little number right here, the Fest Godzilla Blu-ray, or the Godzilla Fest Blu-ray, which is going to feature all 5 of the Tokusatsu shorts. Now, Toho has been given a bit of flack for these things because they are crowd-funded, and they do have them on their YouTube channel for a little bit before they're taken off entirely. And it is cool to see this, like, on Blu-ray, on disc, and the whole 9 yards, but I'd be surprised if it left Japan. I have a region-free Blu-ray player, so I'm actually considering picking this up. But at the same time, there's a possibility that this gets a US release with subtitles and all that. Minuscule possibility. But I might pick this up at some point soon, just because I would like to own these on Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, whatever. I think it's cool that they actually did this, and I think it'd be even cooler if they did it for, you know, the US fans out here. Speaking of which, the short this year was fantastic. Final Goji, Jet Jaguar, G-Claw Jet Jaguar, going up against GMK King Ghidorah. It was... it encapsulates all that is fun about Godzilla, and that was very, very fun. And we'll be talking about that short again in a little bit. So moving on to Mondo. Mondo had a bit of an early drop for that of Godzilla Day, and I mean, this is all I could find on their website, so if I missed anything, I'm sorry. But we got this cool little Monsterverse Godzilla Tiki Cup. I mean, it looks like Monsterverse Godzilla, but it's got the blue smoke, possibly a flame coming out of his head. We've got straws over here. It's a cup. Mondo's done it before. Looks cool. What I really wanted to pick up was Godzilla and the UFO. This is great, but it was like $130. And I like this though, because this is just strange and unusual enough for me to the point where it's like, if that were to come back in the stock and I had the money, I wouldn't even think twice. That's just so goofy and so cool and so fun. I want it. And we also got two 1954 art prints from Mondo. Last I was on their website, one of them had sold out. I don't know if both of them had sold out, but hey, they're cool. I like them. For the price, I wouldn't buy them though. Anyway. Super7. Super7, I think they had a pretty good Godzilla day, because they started everything off with the Godzilla -1 Charged Ultimate, which will be the first time we get Minus Goji with his dorsal fins extended out. You know, a lot of people have been pretty vocal about the fact that how come none of the figures have had his fins pointed out, and the Movie Monster series was clearly as he fired it, just without a breath effect, because Movie Monster series don't come with breath effects yet. And the SH Monster Arts comes with the heat ray effect, so they're already like back in his bag. So this is one of those situational charged up variants that I can actually, like, I get why it exists, because this is something that people have been asking for, maybe not in droves, but people have been asking for it, and here's your chance to get it. It's a very uncomfortable looking figure though, because like seeing everything just like jutting out of Godzilla's back, it's like, ooh. And I mean, it looks cool. It's apparently going to start shipping next month, which is a nice change of pace and such, and I can't be mad at it. Whether I'm going to get it, I don't know. I'm very bummed that I had to miss out on the standard just because of money being low and having to deal with Godzilla Store and Hobby Link Japan Movie Monster series overall. So if I have more money following all of this, I'll pick it up. But there's another Ultimate that I have my eye on. That being the Super7 Ultimate Space Godzilla poster color version. Yes, now it is a poster color version. I'm just being a sarcastic prick because looks like the Trendmasters 10-inch. It does. And I understand that the Trendmasters 10-inch was based off of the poster art and everything, but take one good look at the poster art and then look at this. Right? It's like, it's a Trendmasters repaint officially in my brain. And honestly, so far, I think this looks fire. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to pick it up yet because, again, $141 for that box set on the Japanese Godzilla store. I am not looking forward to paying shipping on that thing, but I'm glad it wasn't all at once. More on that later. Super7 is also gifting us a Godzilla TCG set. You can either buy a single pack from their website or a whole heckin' box for $168, and this was something that ran through my mind very quickly. It's like, I think I want to do that. Money wasn't crazy for October, and I had just enough to get what I knew I needed out of Godzilla Day. And again, 141 plus fees and everything for that Movie Monster series box set. There was no way this was happening. In cheaper news, we got a Hawaiian colorway version of the Shogun Warriors Godzilla Ultimate, which is $55. I know Brian Flynn is a big fan of these old school colorways, and it's cool to see this mold in metallics and such. I'm not exactly running out to cop. I'm not running out to nab again. If I had the money right now, I'd probably buy the Space Godzilla. Because, oh, nostalgia. Nostalgia's bad, Rob. No. Super7 also unveiled a dancing Godzilla reaction figure where he will be balancing on his tail. I think this is adorable. Obviously, I'm getting the Movie Monster series version as well. But this is something fun. This is what I like to see from Super 7. Something entirely different. How often do we get a dancing Godzilla from a major company? Maybe Marmot, maybe some other lesser known companies in Japan. We have that new movie monster series thing. I'll talk about that later, but it's so cool to see Super 7 doing something like this. The Godzilla victory dance is something that's forever ingrained in my brain. This box art is classic. It's so cool. It would actually pain me to take that out of the box. But speaking of reaction, we've got yet another one. We've got the Marusan J-Tail Orange Godzilla, which apparently glows in the dark, I think? Yep, glows in the dark. And I got the original release of the J-Tail variant, and while I love this orange cream soda, Stewart's root beer soda Godzilla thing that's going on here, again, I'm not exactly frothing at the mouth for this. I think it's cool that this mold is getting more love and such, but this is something that I will put on the back burner. You know, rainy day, have money, cop. But I'll be honest, if the charged -1 ultimate isn't gone at some point, I'd probably pick that up before I picked up this, but yeah. That's after I buy the Ultimate Space Godzilla, though. So if you're expecting a review of the Ultimate Space Godzilla from me, it's gonna be late. Now for quite possibly the most important announcement from yesterday and the day before, somewhat. Giant Condor won the fucking Movie Monster Series voting poll, but according to Godzilla Official on Twitter, Giant Condor got the most votes worldwide to become the next fan-selected Movie Monster Series figure. Now, I was under the impression that we could possibly see two winners, one from US, one from Japan. But as it seems, Vote Condor Be Giant or Vote Giant Be Condor graced the other reaches of the world, and everybody voted Giant Condor. And I know a lot of people are upset, and I'm sorry, but I am so happy that this exists. Yes, I voted for Giant Condor for the meme, because honestly, it's hilarious that he beat out Headless Mechagodzilla, Mogira, Eternal like, that's hilarious. But at the same time, I feel like this is the only time we could have ever gotten Giant Condor. Most of what was already on the polls probably will get made into a figure eventually, just not by the end of next year, but you know, like, I mean, it might be. I don't know. I'm happy this happened because out of all the figures on there, I feel like this was, like, least likely. People love Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah 1991. I don't doubt them making Dorats anyway. And there's no way in my state of brain that I think that Orga is going to be glossed over forever. A lot of those choices are easy money makers for Bandai, and I doubt they're all just going to disappear out of their brains. So don't worry. Giant Condor took the US and Japan. I'm so excited. I understand some of you are not, but just look at this clip.
Unbelievable! Unbelievable!
Praise the sun! Yes. Yes, it is entirely my fault that Giant Condor won. If you hate that, you hate me, and that's okay. Up next is the Movie Monster Series Dream 5. What the hell is this called? 2024 Box Edition. I'm just gonna call it mini memorial box because that's essentially what it is. So let's go over everybody right off the bat. So I'm going to start with King Ghidorah because just like Mechagodzilla, a variant was announced before the winners were announced. Mechagodzilla had flying version, King Ghidorah had phantom color or another color version. So it was a pretty safe bet on my part that King Ghidorah was getting in, and I'm quite happy with this. Sure, it looks a little goofy, but Showa King Ghidorah looked kind of goofy too. This is the first time we're getting a Showa era King Ghidorah figure in a very long time. From the Movie Monster Series, from Bandai's vinyl lines in general. I think the last major Showa era King Ghidorah release for the vinyl line was in the Godzilla collection, and that was like 3 times. So to finally see Showa era King Ghidorah in all of his glory in the Movie Monster Series, I'm quite excited. And I love that the wings kind of look like the original one with all just like the flat material, and then you get his little chicken strips in there. I think it's cool. I'm happy about it. And then finally we're gonna get Anguirus, probably 72. And this is probably, more than likely, more akin to what people were hoping and expecting from SH Monster Arts, the tan spikes, a much more dark chocolatey brown for his skin, and what looks like brown eyes and not green eyes, and this looks cool. I mean, this is exactly what I was expecting if Anguirus won. The real question is the neck glue sealed? This does look like a new mold because I believe the original one had an open mouth? Or at least the teeth look a lot better on the original. But it's cool to see. Little bummed that the tail's not going to be fully painted on an exclusive figure, essentially, at least for the time being. But we'll get into that real quick. A little bit. It's about time Anguirus got a little bit more love in the movie monster series. I'm happy about it, and obviously I'm going to be picking it up because I already paid for this box set in general. So now we have Mechagodzilla 1974, aka Mechagodzilla 1, and this is exactly what I was asking for in that one review however long ago. The trimmings are all done, the little buttons and shit, they're all done up. He's got everything that he needs. And this looks like the Godzilla Monster Series Mechagodzilla toy, the Spark Doll motherfucker. This looks exactly like that, but he looks bigger. So clearly, this was in the plotting for Bandai at some point. I'm excited for it. I know not everybody's crazy about yet another Mechagodzilla, but I needed this. The last time Mechagodzilla got a brand spanking new mold before the flying version was all the way back in the 80s and 90s for the Godzilla collection, which... like at that point, like look at how that figure looks. Bro absolutely needed a new vinyl variant for himself. He did. And that's what I'm liking about the movie monster series moving from at this point in time forward. It seems like they're ready to do a complete lineup type thing. Now, of course, we have some heavy hitter, deep cut monsters that have yet to be seen, like Kumonga. And while I'm sure that thing's probably going to look cursed as hell, whether it's a wide release or an exclusive release, I don't doubt it happening. Showa era, Heisei era, Millennium series, I have a feeling all of that's going to get properly repped in time. Just immediately assume it's going to be an exclusive so you don't get let down. That's my advice. And up next, the second most important figure in this set, Kamakura. Kamakura got an HG release in 2004. He might have gotten another one after that. But before that, he was in the Godzilla collection, and that was it. This is the first time Kamakura is getting major movie monster series love, major vinyl line love since I think somewhere in the 80s. And I think the figure looks great. I really do. I love the detailing on him, the texturing of his skin, how they did up his wings. Whether it'll look as good in hand is yet to be seen. I'm very interested in the articulation on this guy because I'm looking at the legs and maybe, I'm looking at the arms and maybe, but I'm also looking at the back of the head and maybe, the torso maybe, like right at the waist. That probably will be glue sealed, but I'm curious. I can't wait. Kamakura has been long since asked for, and I think with this thing's major existence finally here, we might see a Final Wars one. But then again, Final Wars, so we can't really predict anything for Final Wars at this point. And now, the most important figure in this set, it's just fact, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to deal with it. Gabra, Godzilla's Revenge, the major alumni himself. It's finally happening. Gabra is getting an official movie monster series release. Never been done in the Godzilla vinyl lines prior. Maybe HG, I think, maybe doubt it. But this is the one I am most hyped for. Absolutely. It goes Gabra, Kamakura, Anguirus, Mechagodzilla, and King Ghidorah. And I don't want to downplay it because I'm really excited for that King Ghidorah. This Gabra figure, like, that might be figure of the year territories for me, which means my figure of the year list is going to be late again. Assume first week of 2025 to some capacity there because this releases on December 22nd in Japan and I'm gonna be cutting it real close there. Hopefully it releases earlier and I can get it before then. And I mean, we gotta take a look at this box. It looks like the Destroy All Monsters DVD Blu-ray cover art. It's cool. That is going to be such a major part of this set and I have to think about what the hell I'm going to do with my shelves because I want that box on the shelf with the movie monster series figure. I might have to sacrifice some space that I don't have, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. I love the way this box looks. I love the way the promo was done for all of this. I think everything looks great. And now, the number one question I've been getting since this was posted up, are these going to be released individually? And a Godzilla account on Twitter, Godzilla_ST, which is officially a Godzilla account, Godzilla store, they said in an English translation of the tweet, it is planned to be sold separately in 2025, but the timing and price have yet to be decided. Don't miss out on this 2024 box edition, which comes with the box and is a great deal. And not gonna lie, again, I think its base price is $130 over in Japan. If you look at all the major Godzilla store exclusives, they were like 30, 35. King Ghidorah is obviously going to be a lot more expensive than the rest because of the wingspan and shit. This kind of like, it adds up. It does. Because let's say Anguirus, $30. Mechagodzilla, $30. Kamacuras, $30. Gabara, $30. King Ghidorah would be like $35, $40. It adds up. I don't think it's like a crazy good deal, but for under $200 before shipping, I'm not upset about this. And I'm glad that apparently it's going to be sold separately sometime next year. It gives the people who don't want to pay over on the US Godzilla store $160. And for the people who just want Gabara or just want Kamacuras or just want King Ghidorah or whatever, you'll be able to. You will absolutely be able to. We just gotta wait for a proper announcement. But you wanna know what the fucked up thing is? If these are gonna be solo releases, it means they're gonna have tags, which means I need to buy all of them all over again. Great. Okay, show everybody. We gotta talk about Dancing Godzilla, because the Movie Monster series has a brand spanking new subline under its belt. Next to Movie Monster series Shining, we now have Movie Monster series Dynamic. That is based on an extremely rough translation. And Godzilla 65 and another figure we're going to talk about very quickly are going to be the first releases in it, and this kind of comes into play with a video that I was going to make at some point, which would be what happens when the Movie Monster series is done? What happens when they've done everything? Are we just going to get repaints? Here's the answer to that. Poses. Posed Movie Monster series figures in select poses, legendary poses, the whole 9 yards. We could get a new Space Godzilla mold out of this. Have him like this with his head up and run like, like we might actually, like, I think this is actually a pretty cool idea, I should say. I don't know if these figures are going to be tagged. I don't know what the whole connotation is, but I did think they were Godzilla store exclusives, but somehow I forgot my own point in the matter. It's just that usually when a Godzilla store exclusive is announced, they have a black background. These are all white. So the Movie Monster series Dynamic line, I think, is going to be released wide. I mean, Awesome Collector has them listed, which usually means they're wide releases, but we'll talk about Awesome Collector in a little bit. Either way, I'm excited. I love that the figure actually comes with a stand. And I especially love that it looks like the figure is still posable. I don't think you can pose the legs to a point where he can stand, but you might be able to. Nah, that one leg is too curved in. Now, for anybody wondering, for anybody worried, I don't doubt that they are going to do a standard 65. Just relax, calm down. They wanted to start a new sub-series of Movie Monster series figures, and whether it moves past these two is yet to be seen, because Mega Movie Monster series, what was Mechagodzilla part of? Master Detail series. Bandai likes to start lines and kind of like do nothing with them. So I'm not exactly hopeful for more of this line because I've been let down in the past. But the other figure announcement that we got for this new sub-series of the Movie Monster series line is Godzilla -1. He's in the poster pose looking thing, and I assure you the figure is painted. Not as much as you probably want it to be, but I assure you it is painted. These original images that we got, it was shot in such a bad way because he just looks friggin' glossy, but then you look at this photo right here and it's like, it's fine. Bandai, I'm begging you, do your promo pictures a bit better, because people are like, this is a waste. No. And people still might think that, but it looks like the arms are going to be articulated and the legs. I'm not counting on that tail because that looks like a nasty little seam, but this is cool. I like that they're continuing on with the Movie Monster series because, again, I thought the Movie Monster series was going to take a bow within the next 3 to 4 years. Because realistically, what else do they have to do? A little bit more Showa, a little bit more Heisei, a little bit more Millennium. There's not much else for them to do that I think is actually possible of them doing. I know, they still have a lot to do with the Monsterverse, but let's be honest here. Bandai Japan hates the Monsterverse. So let's take a break from the Movie Monster series and talk about the action figure line, because it's getting a rather big player. That being Godzilla 1991. This looks pretty good. This feels almost like an improvement from 2004 and even the -1 Godzilla. The heat ray looks awesome. The eye paint looks cool. This feels like a cool little upgrade. He looks goofy as shit from the front though. Those fucking ears, dude. Or looks like a koala bear. Those things look so cute. Then we have this image over here, and everybody and their mother was like, what's wrong with the last picture? Why does his tail look like that? Guys, I don't work for Bandai. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. I don't even know what to fucking say. Too many Krabby Patties. Instead of going to his thighs, because they were already as fuck, they went to his tail. It's probably just something wrong with the render. I highly doubt we're going to have a giant cringe tumor sack on Godzilla's tail. Plus, when you look at this image over here, there ain't nothing wrong with his tail. So, yeah. Looks cool. I'll get it eventually. On to the final 4 folders. And thankfully, this one's going to be rather quick. They announced that there were going to be 2 new showings of Godzilla The Art, which is just the Godzilla art exhibit. We normally get figures for that, and as you can see, we have the original maquette Godzilla, we have coin parking delivery Godzilla, we've got this thing over here, which I guess is an X Plus or something, I don't know. And then we have this 54 Blue Drip one, which I still haven't picked up, but we're getting a 1968 Godzilla. Many people have said he kind of looks like Ghost Godzilla with all the scars, and yeah, just a little bit, sure. He's green, he's red, he's silver. It looks like such a wild and crazy little variant. I love it. I am going to pick this up as soon as I possibly can, which won't be till April and or June of next year. But this is one of the cooler ones, and more importantly, it shows that Bandai still has the 68 mold, which means I know where you live, Bandai. So yeah, that's fun. I'm very curious about it. Can't wait to see it. Let's go. So for those of you who watched the Tokusatsu short, yes, Jet Jaguar G-Claw version with the Gigan hooks is getting a premium Bandai release, and apparently pre-orders go live tomorrow for this. And it looks like he's going to have either 2 figures in the set, or there's going to be replaceable arm parts. I'm assuming 2 figures. So there's going to be a thumbs up jet, and then there's going to be the G-Claw jet. I'm not exactly sure how this is all going about. I mean, here's like one of the promotional materials I saw for it. Might be like 2-in-1 figure, might be 2 figures, 1 box set. I'm not sure what's going on here. And according to Good Guy over on Twitter, he was surprised at how the shape of his face had changed. It would be nice to see a festival version of Gigan, Space Monster, King Ghidorah, and Godzilla with an injured eye. And I do agree. You have molds for pretty much all of these now, and I'm pretty sure you can customize them to your heart's content. So, Godzilla Fest variants of pre-released figures. Let's do it. It looks cool, and if I can nab it off of Big Bad Toy Store and it doesn't come out at a crappy time, I got this. So now we're finally going to talk about Awesome Collector. And Awesome Collector, they've been known to post early listings for figures that haven't been released yet. And there's quite a few. So right up front, we've got 2 new -1 Godzilla apparently movie monster series figures that are coming out, a Sumi-E version and a Mount Fuji version. Now I'm a little confused by all this because both of those are $15 and yet the rest of the movie monster series figures that are listed will be $30, so I wonder if these are the Godzilla Monster Series, the Spark Doll figures. I'm wondering if that's what's going on here, because they don't charge $15 for movie Monster Series figures, as you'll see in a quick bit. So I'm curious about that, and if anybody can enlighten me, please do. I'm ready to be cultured. Okay, and we've got Movie Monster Series posing version. We've got Godzilla 2000. I wonder, what is that? Is that going to be a new Heat Ray variant for Godzilla 2000? Is it going to be Godzilla vs. Megaguirus? Because technically that movie came out in 2000. Godzilla 2000 came out in 1999 officially. So I'm curious about that, but the most hyped baby on here, the one that I need specifically, Godzilla 1971. If that MF doesn't have skeletal hand and fucked up eye, we've lost the race. Even if he comes with the eggs in his hands too, Bandai, Toho, I need it. I will buy another 7 fucking Movie Monster Series Hedoras from you. It's also nice to know that with these early listings, it's basically just confirming that all of these are going to be wide released, which further kind of just strengthens the narrative that while this year didn't start off the most prosperous with the Movie Monster Series, next year is yes. And then on the back end over here, we've got Dancing 65 Godzilla. We've got Modified Gigan from Final Wars, which means chainsaw hands. And we've got yet another Godzilla 1991. The only thing I can think of there is that they're doing a figure of the sea suit, or they're doing a figure with the heat ray charge or something like that. Unless it's another fucking color renewal figure. Please, no. I already have 3 Godzilla 91s. I don't need any more. Him and his fat tits are taking up way too much space. And the final thing I want to talk about is this nifty little video that went up that I only just saw this morning, talking about the now 3 sublines under the Movie Monster series. We have Movie Monster series Shining, Burning Godzilla. We have Movie Monster series Dynamic or Dynamic Pose with Dancing Godzilla. But we have this mysterious little shadow fucker, which is obviously Destroya. And the website that I was looking at, the auto-translate for what this stands for is Gihan, and apparently that means model or good example, something along those lines. So I'm thinking that this new line might be like a new version of the Master Detail series, where they feel less like toys, but more like Mini X Plus figures almost. There really isn't any like other information going on with this website, but I'll link it down in the comment section down below, where you can watch this crazy cool looking trailer. It's really cool to see a Movie Monster series commercial. It's like, you know, what? But again, this is just machine translation. I don't know how accurate the names are going to be. If you know more about this, if you have better insight to this, especially if you speak the Japanese language, please comment section down below. I think with Super7, I missed talking about the Fun vinyl, and those are cool. I'm more so waiting for another design that'll really like get my neurons activated, i.e. Hedorah. Brian, I know you love Hedorah. I love Hedorah too. Fun Hedorah. Who, what, where, when, how, why, how much. But yeah, if there is anything more that I didn't cover, tell me in the comment section down below. We can have a discussion there. And I do stress discussion. I understand not everybody was happy with everything that was announced, and I'm just talking about it from my own mindset of a very excited collector. If you feel like your hype wasn't met, or if it's not like mine, I do so apologize, but let's not point fingers and shout. It's Godzilla's 70th anniversary this year. Let's chill, let's relax. A lot more is on the way. More than you could ever imagine, and more than I could probably even expect. I've been Shinrob Jira. I do so hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all maybe sometime this week with the new Movie Monster Series 54 figure or the 2 new Egg Series figures. And then again, yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out this month. So I'll see you all then in there. Peace. I love you. Goodbye. Giant Condor! Be giant. Vote Condor.